No one anticipated the High Court to act this fast and this forcefully. With news that Gwede Mantashe was held overseas under unclear legal terms, there was deafening silence from the presidency, bewilderment from parliament, and sheer panic within Luthuli House. That silence soon dissipated. Under intense pressure from civil society, opposition parties, and legal monitors, the court made an unprecedented order that would upend South Africa's political map. President Cyril Ramaphosa is now compelled to present a complete and open report on the arrest, the charges, the preemptive knowledge of the state, and if and how any attempts were made to hinder or delay justice. For the first time ever under his presidency, the president is being legally compelled to put his words down on paper, not with equivocal platitudes or carefully crafted PR speechifying, but with hard truths that will be scrutinized both in South Africa and overseas. The circumstances of Mantashe's arrest remain unclear, but sources indicate it is tied to serious international corruption allegations, likely linked to energy deals, offshore financial transactions, and foreign business organizations. He was seized by officials in a European country while attending what was meant to be an off-the-books energy forum. That meeting, however, was being monitored by overseas financial intelligence agencies who had been watching for suspicious behavior connected with lucrative contracts and shadowy brokers. Government officials reportedly moved on warrants issued months earlier, warrants that South African institutions were either unaware of or willingly chose to ignore. That admission has fueled the most painful questions: was the presidency blindsided, or did top officials know this was coming and choose to turn a blind eye? The High Court's insistence leaves no doubt. The president must fully explain what the government knew about Mantashe's foreign dealings, what diplomatic action was taken, and whether there were any legal requirements for South Africa to report or assist in the foreign probe. For Ramaphosa, it is a nightmare come true. He is no longer confronted merely by opposition chatter or media rumors. He is now being held accountable by the courts, with the judiciary demanding answers under oath. Any attempt to deceive or obscure facts could result in contempt or obstruction of justice charges. It is a political balancing act between shielding his inner circle and maintaining what little credibility his presidency still holds. Yet the chaos is not confined to the opposition. The ANC itself is self-destructing. Mantashe's arrest has ignited a new war between Ramaphosa loyalists, radical economic transformation faction supporters, and those desperate to distance themselves from the reek of scandal. Several provincial leaders are calling for an emergency NEC meeting, while some MPs prepare to back a vote of no confidence if Ramaphosa fails to satisfy the court. A high-ranking ANC insider admitted off record that the party cannot endure defending yet another global embarrassment. If the president won't clean house, then the house must remove him, he warned. These sentiments underline the delicate tightrope Ramaphosa walks, one that could snap at any moment. The timing only worsens matters. South Africa already suffers from economic stagnation, rampant unemployment, chronic load shedding, and a deep crisis of public trust. Now, the arrest of a senior ANC figure overseas for corruption appears to confirm to ordinary South Africans that the culture of impunity from state capture days never truly ended. To foreign governments and investors, it raises doubts about whether the current leadership can deliver genuine reform. This is no longer an internal matter. Ramaphosa's silence, the court's intervention, and Mantashe's arrest have dragged South Africa under fierce international scrutiny. Foreign governments demand transparency, investor confidence is wavering, and observers question whether the nation is serious about tackling corruption or merely playing politics as usual. Ramaphosa's new dawn now lies in tatters. While the ANC burns from within, opposition parties waste no time piling on. The DA has demanded that Ramaphosa testify before a special parliamentary committee. The EFF is ready to go to court to compel disclosure of all presidential correspondence with foreign law enforcement. Meanwhile, Action SA and the UDM are calling for mass mobilization and even early elections. For the first time in years, a visible crack has appeared in the ANC's once impenetrable armor, and opposition leaders are eager to drive a wedge through it. Ramaphosa once promised to root out corruption, restore trust in government, and reclaim South Africa's global respect. Yet today, as the courts force transparency, a top ally is jailed abroad, and his party consumes itself, his reputation teeters closer than ever to collapse. More dangerously, the court's move sets a precedent. Never before has an incumbent president been so squarely compelled under oath to account for his inner circle's actions. This reflects the judiciary's growing resolve to demand higher accountability from the executive. If Ramaphosa falters, the damage will not be limited to his presidency, it could weaken the very office, while empowering political opponents and civil society to press for even greater oversight. Already, speculation swirls over succession. Names from both RET and reformist factions are being floated, raising the prospect of a brutal power struggle that could fracture the ANC further and embolden the opposition ahead of elections. Meanwhile, ordinary South Africans watch with weary familiarity, leaders turning on each other, factions vying for dominance, institutions straining for accountability, while daily life only grows harder. If Mantashe's arrest lit the flame, the fire was of the ANC's own making, born of decades of compromise, corruption, and failure to reform. Will Ramaphosa cooperate fully with the judiciary, even if it means exposing uncomfortable truths about his closest allies? Or will he dig in, shield his circle, and risk both his presidency and South Africa's democratic reputation on the global stage?